Slobber all over your
Think about
face.
cats. You literally designate a box for your cat to poop in that you
Hey,
have to pick up.
there's quite a
Get
few
toilet
cats
trained
out
then.
there that can be toilet trained. Yeah, I was about to say that. My cat.
You, you've
Yeah.
got a smart cat.
No, I
Oh,
swear,
it's
it's a
easy.
thing.
My cat has a meltdown if there's no box.
That's because you didn't teach it. You didn't train it.
But I don't know. Personally, I think I'm in the same boat as you, Van. Like, I had a German Shepherd, and it was an amazing experience growing up with a German Shepherd. I loved that dog so much. Such a loyal, awesome pet. But realistically, on my own, I wouldn't get a dog. I would get a cat. I feel you, dog. Cat.
Dog, cat, warlock, mage. If a mage was a dog or a cat, what would it be?
Wait, what? Okay, I don't like that question. How about this question? Who has the best transmog out of all 6 of these players? You have 5 seconds.
Driftingz.
Unafraid.
What is
Wrong. Wrong answer.
Is that wrong? Who has
Yeah,
the
that's
best?
not. This is not Driftingz.
Wait, I'm
Who's
looking
he?
at the things.
No,
He's
that's
so
a
colorful.
wannabe. That's a wannabe Venruki transmog.
What the heck? That's a patented
Whoa.
thing? Hello?
He was trying to be too creative. That's what it looks like.
Uh,
Too creative. Disqualified for too creative. Alright, but Drifting's already building out full icicles. Both rogues trying to find each other, possibly find a sap. They're coming close to each other reasonably often. Danny's just camping bear farm in case they do decide to open on him. Unafraid, still sitting in stealth, not willing to open up. And Dota's just been trading dots out. Taz's mana is getting taxed a little bit more if this game goes long, and both rogues are reluctant.
yeah, they both want to wait for the ideal opener, and I guess that's fine. It's already down to 19 minutes, so only 4 more minutes until a dampening. Driftingz just spamming out the frostbolts over and over and over. And I guess we're going to have to wait until the Shadow Side comes out. But now Unafraid and Nessper getting dangerously close to each other. It looks like Lock God TKO is just going to port back. He doesn't want none of that. And both rogues still
It's a
reluctant to
dance,
open.
man. They're dancing. They're doing the tango in stealth right now. Finally, a sap onto Danny, coming out from Unafraid. The full kidney onto Dota. Nesper's going to sap Taz as well, and trying to open up here onto Unafraid. The full cheap shot with the adrenaline rush, pumping out a ton of damage onto him. He did have the feint up prior to it, so well played by Unafraid to have that up. The Ironbark and Snaring Word coming out prior to the deep freeze from Danny, keeping Dota topped off. He should even be able to sit through the blind.
Yeah, absolutely. Because of that pre-Ironbark Lockout, TKO is going to be completely fine, but he does get polymorphed up on that. And now Dota's going to have to do a good job kiting. He does get that port behind the pillar. Does get away. Going to use that gateway as well. He's going to get offensively cloned there by Taz, but decides to break that right away. The Demon Soul coming out. Nessper taking a lot of damage at the moment. Has to trinket that swap onto him. He still has his killing spree ready to go, but Dota and Nessper both taking so much pressure by this RMD at the moment. Taz getting tunneled down by Nessper a little bit, having to use that Barksian on himself, having a hard time topping himself off, and meanwhile Drifting's taking a lot of damage. The Haunt coming in from Dota at the moment onto Taz, and he needs to get away. He's in bear form. Nessper caught into that full kidney shot, though, for a little bit of peeling, and now Taz can finally get away and top himself off.
Yeah, the pressure's turning around. The killing spree coming out from Unafraid here onto Dota. He's going to get Ironbarked by Dannycarey, camping the bear farm as well, just in case he swaps. Nessper with the killing spree now out onto Taz. Is just going to take him. Oh my god! Shadow Meld at 2%. He dodged one killing spree tick and is going to survive Nesper's onslaught. Now he's camping the bear farm. He probably doesn't even know that he's still alive. That was such a close call, but now Unafraid got into the full stun in the smoke bomb at 20%. He gets the vanish off to survive at 15%. Taz desperately trying to pick him up. He has no cooldowns. He gets cloned up at low HP here. Danny looking to switch the clone over. Not going to be able to just yet. Unafraid getting cloned once again as well. Taz finally getting the Genesis rolling to top him off, but Taz is so scared at this point.
Yeah, he really has nothing left except his trinket as well as Barksian. So I guess for the next swap on him, he's going to be pretty fine. Unafraid still has his trinket as well. Any swap incoming onto him. Driftingz has a block. So this RMD is doing all right. But in the meantime, this RLD also, I mean, Dannycarey still has his trinket. Barksian, Ironbark available to him. Lockout has all his cooldowns except trinket. Nessper, the only one really in danger of getting swapped to. So he might need to be a little bit careful of that. But the sap coming out onto Tazipool at the moment. Driftingz getting attacked by Nessper, pulling back, putting Nessper into that sheep. And now Nessper getting swapped to. Here's the bomb, the deep freeze onto Dannycarey. This could be the end of Nessper if they have any follow-up stuns for him. He's going to get the Ironbark, though, and get out of the bomb, and he's going to be completely fine through that swap.
Yeah, the Ironbark's an Iron Ward and Feint. He's got so many buffs, I can't even keep track of it, but he's going to be okay. The Ironbark's going to be fading here. Unafraid popping the Adrenaline Rush, though, trying to get some pressure rolling onto Dota, but Drifting's not in a good position to get any CCs. Just spamming Polymorphs onto Unafraid. Nessper going to get cloned up by Taz. Full Kidney onto Danny. Looks like they're trying to set up onto him, or just using it for CC. He is going to choose to answer that finally with the Bark Skin. Throwing the Bash now onto Unafraid. Damage being thrown out onto Drifting, and as the Haunt connects, he uses the Killing Spree here from Unafraid onto Dota, but it's going to get Cenarion warded. He didn't even need to port away. Now, Unafraid caught into a Kidney, trying to make the turnaround. He's going to get the Iron Bark as well as the Cloak of Shadows, reducing all the damage coming in. Drifting's getting swapped to. Now the Haunt connects to him. Taz has to use the Nature Swiftness to bring him back up to 50%. He's still dipping lower and lower at 30% HP. Haunt is still up. Dota trying to finish the job. Unafraid turning the pressure around onto Nessper, but I believe he did have Feint up prior to that Kidney. He's not taking any damage. A Deadly Throw locks out Taz, pressuring Drifting's harder here. He doesn't have any blocks. He's got to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, absolutely. He doesn't have a block for another 47 seconds, like you said. Now Nessper onto the full clone. Taz trying to get the reclone onto him, faking out a little bit. Nessper uses his Shadow Step kick onto him, but now he's kind of stuck in Egypt with Taz, and he's having a hard time reconnecting onto anyone, really. Finally getting back onto his target, which is Unafraid. Dota taking a lot of damage right now. Dannycarry just sitting back. The Iron Bark does fade from Dota there. Dannycarry doesn't have his trinket up, so if he gets caught into any CC, this could be trouble for Dota. He only has 2 rejues on himself right now and no Iron Bark ready to go, but Driftingz caught into the full kidney shot under a lot of pressure right now, having to pull back and forced to play defensive a little bit while he is still waiting on his Ice Block cooldown for another 15 seconds. But Nessper relentlessly attacking him. Taz actually in stealth at the moment, coming out with the Cyclone, gets the full Cyclone. Nessper actually Cloak of Shadows that, so wasn't able to get that Cyclone out. That would have been a huge help for him. But it looks like Drifting's HP is going to stabilize. Meanwhile, Unafraid caught into the full kidney shot. The bomb coming out. This could be the end for him. The Ironbark and the NS coming out from Taz, but Unafraid still dying, down to 12% HP. Taz not in any CC. That was a beautiful swap by the RLD, but Taz able to barely keep Unafraid alive with the Ironbark as well as the NS.
Yeah, he had no Feint, nothing. Taz got in there just in the nick of time. Now Unafraid getting cloned up, Drifting getting pressured. He does have that block available now. I believe he got locked out on that Polymorph. He's dipping lower. Taz caught in a bash. The blind thrown out onto Danny. Adrenaline Rush being popped onto Dota here. Unafraid gets kidneyed. He's getting a trick. He pops the Shadow Reflection. He wants to take Dota down, but Drifting dipping low. Blocks at 8% HP. Getting it off here. Doesn't seem like they're able to get the pressure rolling onto Dota, though. Danny positioned right on top of him. Has full hots rolling. Drifting's actually had to trinket the Shadow Reflection blind from Nessper, I believe, and he's going to be able to get out of it. Comet Storm coming down. Nessper's going to cloak offensively, pairing it up with Unafraid's cloak, but either side really is very squishy right now. Nessper with no trinket, Unafraid with no trinket. Smoke Bomb available for Unafraid. The kidney shot comes out. Smoke Bomb gets blown here. They're trying to take him down. The Killing Spree comes out. Danny gets the Tranquility behind the pillar, healing him through the Smoke Bomb and keeping him alive.
Yeah, Driftingz trying to push in to get some more CC on a Dannycarry. Dannycarry actually getting cloned up by Taz, but Nessper's going to be completely fine. I mean, he has Hots, his Feint, his Evasion's up right now. Unless he gets stunned, Dannycarry should be able to pick him up. He's finally out of CC in bear form. He's a little bit scared of being swapped to on the south, but the 3 Trents coming out. Nessper caught into the full kidney shot, though. No trinket available. If they can get anything on a Dannycarry, this could be the end of Nessper. He's going to get out and be able to spam up that Feint and be completely fine because of that. Meanwhile, Unafraid getting caught into that kidney shot. They're trying to turn around onto him. The full clone from Dannycarry onto Driftingz, stopping him from really getting out any peels, and both rogues are the target of choice right now, which is kind of unusual.
Yeah, it's really cutthroat, man. These rogues, a lot of class envy, I think, between the two of them, trying to prove a point. Drifting's getting connected to. Unafraid's going to peel Nessper with the full kidney. I don't believe he got Feint up, but Danny's getting a drink. He's going to be full mana. Taz is getting taxed. Now he's into the full fear. Drifting's with no block. They're swapping to Unafraid with the kidney. Haunts up on both targets. Killing Spree comes out onto Unafraid. Nessper trying to finish the job, and he's going to. Cloaking at 1%, not going to be enough. Nessper finishes them, and Magik Men taking it 1-0.
Yeah, they were actually make that kill. They were able to make that kill happen while Dannycarry was sitting and drinking. So they're in a very good position to win that game, even if it went a little bit longer.
There was no point in that entire game where I felt Magik Men was in trouble, to be honest with you guys. But at the same time, I mean, a setup could occur, and crazy stuff has happened. But my replay, I'm actually not going to show you guys the kill here, but I'm actually going to show you how low Taz actually got. At one point. I believe that this is what this replay is at this point, but that game actually ended at 23% dampening. There's the kidney shot onto Taz. If you see him in the background here, the red buff Killing Spree coming out from Nessper, and watch Taz's health. 1% health before that Shadow Meld. Unbelievable. But regardless of that, the Magik Men actually continued on to end that game and takes the first map, which we said earlier. It's a big deal. So say, for example, the RMD wins on their map choice, then they have to win another game on their enemy's map choice. So
Yeah, I don't know what map the RLD is really favored on though. Maybe something like Blade's Edge where Lockout is even less of a target, but he wasn't under any. I mean, he wasn't scared that game at all. I didn't think.
yeah.
No, I don't think it was either. It seemed like Nessper was the only one that could potentially, maybe, kind of, sort of die. Because whenever they were on Dota, he was just a tank, just eating it. Like, Adrenaline Rush would get popped, I would not even see him have to port or his HP move, so I think the RMD needs to find a better target than Dota. I feel like they kind of waste their cooldowns hitting him with it.
Yeah, this is one of those compositions where I feel like there isn't really going to be a map advantage, but maybe they could like set up a strategy with the map. They could bring it. Oh, Taz, of course, going to his trusty Tiger's Peak. When he was playing ATC a lot in these tournaments, Tiger's Peak was Taz's go-to map. Alright guys, here we go. The next map of this Best of 3 series is going to be played out on Tiger's Peak. I'll see you in there in just a minute. Just kidding. Alright guys, welcome to Tiger's Peak. Actually, before I do that, welcome to Tiger's Peak. It is a best of 3 series between an RLD and an RMD. Magik Men versus We Carry Unafraid. We Carry Unafraid 1 game away from dropping down to the loser's bracket, while Magik Men is 1 game away of advancing in the winner's bracket to round 3. Here we go. Game
Good
start.
position to be in.
Absolutely.
To see if We Carry Unafraid can find a bit of a different strategy to get through the early game a little bit more well off than they did the last. The game played out for quite some time. The Pet Nova onto Dota. Nessper just hiding back here, waiting for Unafraid. Danny in the back of the room. They're going to open up onto Dota, giving Nessper the cheap shot onto Unafraid now, choosing to pop the Adrenaline Rush as well. Drifting actually trinketing the Garrote to get the Blazing Speed. A Cyclone onto Nessper is going to deny that Adrenaline Rush. It's looking like a decent opener for the RMD here as Nessper goes into the full kidney with no feint. He's going to have to trinket and cloak of shadows immediately as Danny decided to sit through that full blind.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're already forcing Nessper's trinket. He's still in trouble getting the Iron Bar from Dannycarry as well as the NS. He's going to be able to stabilize there, but that was definitely scary for him. Meanwhile, Tazzy under a lot of pressure right now, trying desperately to get away, but Nessper's able to shadow step onto him, and that is the killing spree as well, pardon me. The Iron Bar coming out from Tazzy, who's going to have a lot of additional healing and damage reduction because of that, and he's going to be able to stabilize, but he used a lot there. He uses NS as well as his Iron Bark. I mean, I guess he still has his trinket available. Caught into the full bash from Dannycarry, though. Dannycarry going to put him into a full clone as they turn the pressure around. Onto Unafraid as well as Driftingz. Dota just getting dots out onto everyone, causing so much pressure. Unafraid caught into the full cheap shot bomb. Another cheap shot onto him. Kidney, he actually got cheap shot on his trinket there, but he is going to be able to hopefully survive. But Driftingz also down. Taz has to play a massive game of catch-up. And the offensive clones coming in from Dannycarry onto Driftingz deny any of Taz's heals.
Yeah, Danny's all over the place. He's relentless, cloning them over and over. Taz is finding it hard to heal through it. Dota pops the Dark Soul. He loads Taz up with the Haunt. Nessper looking for the swap here, potentially. He's going to Cloak of Shadows the full kidney. He did manage to bear form with Heart of the Wild, increasing his armor like significantly, and he's still getting cut through it at 40%. Nessper, though, now caught into the full kidney. The Iron Bark going to come out from Danny. Taz still trying to play catch-up with everyone's health bar. Unafraid's going to cloak offensively onto Nessper. He's going to activate the evasion, a clone onto Danny now, possibly switching over to Dota. Unafraid seems like he's just going to try to wait for the evasion. He's dipping lower and lower. He has to use his evasion now to counter Nessper. He's dipping at 60%. Danny in a full poly. Drifting has to chain the CC, but he gets locked out on it. Nessper going for a killing spree right here, trying to end the game with no CC, and Taz is going to be able to Iron Bark him. But now the bomb onto Nessper, Unafraid making the turnaround. Danny gets inside. I believe he got the NS off and the scenario where GR cheap shot. Ice Nova comes in. Feint was up for that entire duration. He got the Hellstone off and he survived, but both of these rogues are cutthroat.
Yeah, absolutely. These rogue swaps are devastating. Meanwhile, Nesper's trinket coming up. He's getting sheeped up at the moment by Driftingz. Taz just pulling behind the pillar, trying to stabilize his HP a little bit. His teammates are completely fine at the moment. He knows he's the target of choice. The full kidney shot onto Nessper. The second he comes in line of sight, Lockgod has that demon soul up. If he can connect any haunts, it could be very scary for Taz. The one haunt comes in, getting soul drained now by Lockgod. The bash coming out. Taz still in a lot of trouble though, getting deadly throw interrupted onto that cyclone. He does displace away, and he's should hopefully be able to top off his HP, but at the same time, Driftingz taking some damage, getting cloned up by Dannycarry. Unafraid getting targeted down, and these Druid swaps onto Tazzipoo are very scary. Getting swapped to once again with that Shadow Step kidney, so devastating. Lockgod's loading him up with full dots. The DR cheap shot coming in with that vanish. He's in a lot of trouble, down to 2% HP, and he's gonna die.
He could have skinned, he just didn't.
You have Trinket and Skin?
Trinket and Iron Bark. He had all three. And NS. He just sat through it though.
Paying the ultimate price. His World of Warcraft life.
That's the ultimate price, yeah. Alright, there it is. So, that is going to be the last series of the night, guys. Well, of course, we are going to have our patented GCD TV bomb. It's coming up in just a hot minute, guys, so stay tuned for that. We're going to bomb a good buddy of mine. And there it is. 2-0 coming out from Magik Men. Let's take a quick look at the bracket before we continue on. Going to round 3, we have Magik Men versus Season 8. That's going to happen tomorrow, guys. And we Carry Unafraid dropping down to the lower bracket to face our Monk Sucks, the qualifying TSG. Then after that, we have for Mika going up against, hey, it's Tony from the Bronx. Excuse me. Hey, it's Tony from the Bronx. Are you guys scared about Mage, Ballad, and Boomkin?
No.
No?
No.
Alright. There it is. Strong words.
Nope.
So, we are going to bomb a good friend of mine, but before we do that, just going to play